Hey guys, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the Speedform flush mount spoiler here in gloss black, available for your 2015 and newer Charger. Now, the flush mount rear spoiler that we have here today, again, super affordable way to add some of that same factory SRT styling, while also packing a lightweight ABS plastic build and factory gloss black paint job, all for right around that mid $200 price point. Now, when adding a spoiler to your Charger, you're gonna find a bunch of options here at AmericanMuscle.com, from OE-styled options to massive aftermarket wings and everything really in between. Now, me personally, I really like the factory-styled options because they're a great way to add a little bit more character to the rear end of a car who might have missed out on an aggressive spoiler. But at the same time, the factory-styled options, they're not gonna be over the top. And this option here from Speedform is gonna be a perfect example of that. Now, for me, even though this is called the flush mount spoiler, there's really no mistaking that distinct shape and middle cutout area here that is more reminiscent of the newer SRT Chargers. And with that being said, the SRT option, I feel, is gonna be one of the tamer options in the bunch in regards to both size and angle. And I do really think this will appeal to Charger owners out there looking to spice things up in the back, but ultimately keep things a bit more low-key compared to some of your other more aggressive options. Now, materials will be that automotive grade ABS plastic we did mention earlier. It's gonna be equal parts lightweight and durable, and the spoiler has been completed in a factory gloss black paint job. In fact, your paint code here is PX8, which is the Mopar black crystal color, which, by the way, is gonna be a nice color contrast on any other non-black cars out there, or maybe a perfect factory edition or factory-like edition to any black crystal car. Now, at around the mid $200 price point here, the Speedform flush mount option on the table today is going to be a bit more expensive than some of your other more basic factory styled options currently on the site. Now, I do feel that the addition of the factory style paint job on the flush mount option here will help contribute to a slightly more maybe aggressive price tag than some of your more run-of-the-mill matte black options that you'll also encounter here. Point being here, guys, feel free to check out the rest of our selection here at AmericanMuscle.com before pulling the trigger. But let's segue into the installation segment here in today's video. And if you have any sort of factory spoiler on the rear of the car now, you'll be happy to know that the flush mount option here will use or cover the existing holes. So really nothing to worry about there. The site's gonna call it a 2 out of 3 wrench job on the old difficulty meter here, maybe 2 hours to complete from start to finish. But now, to show you what you can expect in the driveway or garage, let's throw it out to the guys in the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
The tools you'll need for this project are a ratchet, a 10mm socket, some painter's tape, a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, a T20 Torx bit, a soft trim panel removal tool, 1/4-inch drill bit, and a drill. Hi everyone, today we're installing a rear spoiler on our Charger, but first let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock spoiler. So the first thing we're going to want to do is remove the 2 end caps using a soft trim removal tool. Now, they're just held in by 4 plastic clips, so we just need to slip our tool underneath it and just pry it out. All right, as you can see, there are basically 3 clips here and 1 pin. So you just may have to work your tool around a little bit to get these things to separate and pull out. And you can repeat that process for the other cap. All right, now we can remove the handle from inside the trunk lid using a T20 Torx bit and our soft removal tool for our push pins. So we've got 2 screws on this handle, 1 on each side. So we'll just remove that with our T20 Torx bit. Now we can remove our cover from the trunk lid. Now we can use our 10mm socket to remove the 4 bolts holding on the center section of the spoiler. We have one here, one here, one here, and then one on the other end. And now you can go ahead and lift that center section up. And before we actually get to the actual install portion of this, there's a couple of things that I want to point out that I think you're going to find very important before you make the decision to install it. One is, if you've got a factory 3-piece spoiler or even an aftermarket 3-piece spoiler, you are going to have some holes in your quarter panel up here and on the other end. And you've also got 2 holes in the center of your deck lid here that are not going to be used when you install the new spoiler. So you're going to need to make a decision on how or if you want to fill in those holes on the quarter panel and in the middle of your deck lid. That being said, if you do not have a spoiler on your vehicle already, then you don't have to worry about that. We'll just show you how to place the spoiler on your deck lid, show you where to drill the holes so that you can install this cleanly and safely. Now the thing with this spoiler is it does use the factory holes on the end of the deck lid, but it does not use the center ones. You'll need to drill a new hole in the center of your deck lid in order to fit the spoiler on there. And we will show you how to do that. So I just want you to keep in mind, these are the things you're going to have to think about before you install this spoiler. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, if your deck lid does not have a previously installed spoiler, then you're going to have to drill new holes for the spoiler to attach to. Unfortunately, the kit also comes with these templates that you can use to drill the holes. What you'll do is you'll put these templates over the pre-drilled holes in the spoiler, set your spoiler on the deck lid, make sure that it's straight, and then tape down these templates to the deck lid and then gently remove the spoiler, leaving the templates in place, and then that'll show you exactly where to drill the holes. Now, because we've already had a spoiler installed on here from the factory, we're going to be reusing the 2 holes on the ends, so we're only going to need to line up where to drill the hole in the center, because the original spoiler had 2 holes instead of 1. So to put these templates in place, what you're going to do is remove this backing material from the center of the template and then place this template hole directly over the hole on the spoiler. And you'll do this for all 3 holes on the spoiler. But like I said, since we already had a spoiler installed, what we're going to do is just reuse the end holes so we don't have to drill it. All we have to do is mark where the center hole is at. So let's go ahead and get this put on the deck lid so I can show you how these templates work and where to drill your holes. So if you have no holes drilled in your deck lid already from a previous spoiler, then you would have the other 2 templates on here as well. So you would set this in place, making sure that the ends where the indentation is on the bottom of the spoiler is evenly spaced on the deck lid itself, as far back as you can get it and still be flat on the deck lid. Once you've got your spoiler placed, one of the things I recommend is using some painter's tape and taping down the template to the deck lid. Now, if you've got the other 2 templates on there, you do the same thing for them. And then once you've got everything taped down where it's not going to move, then gently lift up on your spoiler and you see your template still in place. So this is where you're going to need a 1/4 inch drill bit and a drill, and this is where you're going to drill your holes through. But like I said, we've already got holes pre-drilled, so we're going to use those to help line up where our spoiler goes. And as you can see, there are 2 holes up here from the original spoiler that will have to be filled in later. So let's go ahead and get our spoiler installed. Now at this point, I do recommend that you get a second set of hands to help you put this on, because what's going to happen is you're going to remove this backing from the double-sided tape on the bottom of the spoiler to help hold it in place and prevent any water from getting underneath it. So to keep this thing from sticking someplace that you don't want it to stick, a second set of hands will be very helpful. So what you're going to want to do is pull off the backing material on the 2 end pieces, here and here, and then peel back about 3 inches or so on the side pieces. You don't have to remove the whole thing just yet, and do this on both ends of these side pieces. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and lay this down, get it positioned correctly, and then once you've got it positioned, then we can go ahead and remove these side pieces. But these end pieces here will have to come off before you actually place it on the vehicle. Now, since we're not making this a permanent change to our vehicle, we're not going to remove the backing. We'll just go ahead and show you the rest of the install and get this put on for you. So now what you're going to want to do is line up the hole in the bottom of the spoiler here with the hole that you've pre-drilled or has already been drilled from the factory. And this is where you need a second set of hands to keep the other end of the spoiler from touching the deck lid. And we're going to insert one of the supplied screws. And then you'll do the same thing on the other end to get it started. And then finally we'll put in the center screw if you've got that hole drilled. Now once you've got all your screws started and you know that your holes are all lined up, then we'll go ahead and start tightening them down one by one. Now normally I would recommend that you start in the center one, get that one tightened down first. But since we're not doing all of the holes on ours, we're just going to start from the end. Now at this point, you still also want to make sure that your second set of hands is holding the spoiler away from the deck lid, just so that we can make sure that this goes in exactly where we want it. Now we'll go ahead and tighten down the screw. And once you've got that tight, then you can go down and finish up the rest of it. Now with our spoiler completely installed, we can go ahead and reinstall our trim panel on the bottom of our deck lid here, simply by reversing the procedure that we used to uninstall it. We'll feed our handle through. Install our push pins. Now install the rest of our push pins from this side. We got the 3 along the bottom. And 1 up here on the driver's side. Then we can go ahead and reinstall our handle. And we'll secure that with the original hardware and our T20 Torx bit. And with that, our installation is now complete. And that wraps up our review and install of the Speedform flush mount spoiler in black for your 15 and newer Charger. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Charger, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.